Hello, welcome to my book talk. The book that I read for my literacy circles was The Giver by Lois Lowry. The Giver is a chapter book with 23 chapters and 179 pages. Characters. Some of the main characters are Jonas, the Giver, Gabriel, Jonas's parents, Lily, Asher, the chief elder, and Fiona. But let's focus on Jonas, who is the main protagonist. Jonas, who was any ordinary boy in the community, was very carefully and selectively chosen to be the next receiver of memory. One receiver of memory is chosen every 10 years, and their job is to gather wisdom by getting memories of the past. You see, what happened to the world is something called sameness, which clears everyone's memory of feelings, colors, and basically all pain that ever existed. The receiver gets all of these memories and gives advice to the community when needed. Here are some of Jonas's most recognizable traits. Jonas is caring. He's caring because of his selfless acts for the better of his peers, the Giver, and most of all, Gabriel. He is more caring than anyone else in the community because Jonas is the only person with the memories of things such as love and family. Jonas is also very courageous and perseverant. I know this because even when his training to become the new receiver got very painful and hard to tolerate, he pushed through it and worked his hardest at it. At first, Jonas was very unsure and very scared about going on his journey to elsewhere, which is where the communities end and the real world like ours starts. When he would get to elsewhere, the rest of the community would remember all the good or horrible memories that Jonas received during his training, restoring balance to the world once again. Another very important trait about Jonas is the fact that he's very empathetic, because he knew what the people of the communities felt like since he had been like them before he was selected to be the receiver of memory. He wanted to share the memories with them so that they could all understand the beauty of colors and love, as well as the pain of warfare and starvation. Jonas took Gabriel with him on his journey to elsewhere because he knew that what Gabriel would feel when he was released or killed for being behind others in his age group. Near the end of their journey, Jonas started to not care about himself. All that he wanted to do was keep Gabriel safe. The main antagonist is the community. The community is not a person, it's a group of people that make up a society. So the conflict of this book is person versus society. An easily noticeable trait of the community is that they are very strict. There are many rules and many of them are very specific. Just a few over the hundreds are: all doors must be left unlocked. You must participate in the ritual of dreams at breakfast and the ritual of feelings at dinner. And you are not even allowed to ask people questions. Setting. There are multiple significant settings in The Giver, but the most important, in my opinion, is the Annex, which is where Jonas's training happened, and where he acquired all the memories that changed his life. The Annex is where the Giver lives, so it's very similar to a family dwelling, and is as it's called in the book. From visualizing, I pictured the Annex like this: a dimly lit room with a ceiling that's about 7.5 feet high. It has deep rosy red walls bordering the bookshelves. The room is a regular pentagonal shape with the door at the top tip of it. Looking in on the room from the door, on the right of the room, there is a metal bed with the foot of it facing toward the door. The bed has a thin quilt patterned blanket on top that just barely hangs off the side of it. At the foot of the bed is the speaker that is mounted onto the wall, which can be used to contact people outside the annex. On the left of the bed is a wooden chair with spindly legs and a flowery and dark blue cushion on the seat. On the back left corner of the room is a desk with a similar style to the chair, spindly, thin legs with a deep brown color on the wood. Lining the left and back walls are bookshelves from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. On the bookshelves, the color of the wood is the same as the desk and the chair. After this, I searched up an image on Google of the annex in the movie, and this is what I saw. My guess was pretty far off. The room was very open and high. Bookshelves lined all of the walls. Two leather chairs sat in the middle of the room, facing each other. The leather was the color of the bookshelves, a deep brown. There was no desk or bed in sight, and the room seemed to be the shape of a puzzle piece. Instead of a lone door, a spiral staircase led about 4 meters off the ground up to a door. In my opinion, this setting kind of meets the characteristics of a fantasy setting because it does seem like a place that would have lots of ancient books and artifacts. Plus, it has a very mystical way of putting together the room. But then again, there's nothing too magical about an old library. If there were some ancient machines, then maybe I'd be convinced that it was a fantasy setting. Conflict. The main conflict of this book is the fact that Jonas and the Giver don't agree with the way that the community runs everything. People are required to take pills called stirring pills, which keep your emotions at a very low point. Jonas wants people to understand what it's like to have real feelings like he does. This conflict is a person versus society conflict, because Jonas and the Giver are against the community and the rest of society. The society believes that it's mandatory to take these pills and to follow every rule exactly. Jonas wants to defy this and let people have the memories too, to be creative and do what they want within certain restrictions. Theme. I believe that the overall major themes of the book The Giver are to hold on to what you love, and also, if you have a dream, always chase it. These are the reasons for my selections. The most obvious reason is the fact that since Jonas was very attached to and loved Gabriel, he decided to take him on his journey to elsewhere to prevent him from being released or killed. For if you have a dream, always chase it. Just like the quote says, have courage and perseverance. When Jonas was on his journey, yes, he was weak, but did he give up? No. At first, he was unsure if he even wanted to go. He wanted the Giver to come with him, but he worked out his problems, gained the courage, and went out to do what he felt was right and what he wanted to do. Making connections. I had several connections to the book The Giver, and here are a few. Number 1. A text-to-self connection that I made was on page 99 when in the text it said, "Asher," Jonas said one morning, "look at those flowers very carefully." He put his hands on Asher's shoulders and concentrated on the red petals, trying to hold it as long as he could, and trying at the same time to transmit the awareness of the color red to his friend. "What's the matter?" Asher asked uneasily. "Is something wrong?" He moved away from Jonas's hands. This reminded me of the time when I was in math class, and I thought that I was doing our task right, but I wasn't. I was presenting my work, and everyone was so confused. I kept trying to explain it, but they had no idea what I was talking about, and I felt alone and rejected, and that no one was accepting my idea. My second connection is a text-to-text connection. This is a connection between the two books The Giver and Matched by Ali Condi. Matched is a book that has a similar world to the world of The Giver, but Matched is more strict. In Matched, though, people can see colors and have feelings. Meal times are set, and meals are delivered to your house specifically for your health needs. Your spouse is chosen for you, and you have a job chosen for you, judged by your interests and skills at a certain age. Just like in The Giver. Though the stories take a different path from here, their worlds start off pretty similar. My third and final connection is a text-to-world connection. In this book, the only reason that the community is so bad is because they're afraid of change and taking risks. Now I don't know too much about politics, but I do know that a lot of people are afraid of change and taking risks. Yes, Stephen Harper was a good prime minister, and yes, Justin Trudeau will be a good one too. Don't quote me on that. But Stephen Harper was up there for 10 years. Could that be because some people don't want change, or was he just that good? The main reason that the community is so strict is because they don't want things to go wrong if they take a risk, like with the plane crash in the first chapter. These connections have helped me to better understand the book, to understand the characters' feelings in certain sections and to visualize what is happening. With my knowledge of Matched, I can have prior knowledge of what is going on in the community. With the connection to politics, I can somewhat understand the community's reasoning with not wanting to take risks. And finally, with my knowledge of feeling alone and separate from others, I can understand how Jonas feels while being around people without the memories. This has been my book talk on The Giver by Lois Lowry. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.